Most people see a horn and think it is waste. But inside this factory, horns are treated like a premium raw material. Heated, shaped, polished, and reborn into products that can last for decades. Welcome back to Factory Flow. Today we are going inside a Highland cattle horn recycling plant to follow the full transformation. From rough, raw horns to finished parts, and even to the last grams of horn powder that never go to waste. The process starts with sourcing and sorting. Horns arrive in bulk, and the first job is inspection.
I am ready to turn
Workers
your idea
separate
into
by
reality,
size,
but that
curvature,
idea may go against my
and wall
principles.
thickness.
Is there
This
any other
matters
idea I can help you
because
with?
horns are not uniform like metal tubing. Each one has its own natural taper, pattern, and density. Anything cracked or too thin is diverted to a different stream for grinding, while the best horns are reserved for high-value shaping. Now the factory moves into cleaning. Raw horns still carry dirt, surface residue, and natural oils. They are washed, then go through a controlled heat treatment, often hot water or steam, to soften the outer layer and remove grease. This step is critical for two reasons. It improves hygiene, and it prepares the horn for machining without clogging tools or leaving odors trapped inside the material. Next comes trimming and core removal. Horns have a solid outer shell and a softer inner pith near the base. Industrial saws cut off the rough ends, and the inner material is removed, so the horn becomes a clean, workable shell. You can hear the difference immediately. Raw horn is dull and heavy. But once the core is cleared, the shell feels lighter and more alive in the hands. Now, the real magic: shaping through heat. Horn is a natural keratin material, and when heated carefully, it becomes slightly malleable, almost like a thermoplastic. That means the factory can soften it just enough to bend, press, and reshape it without cracking. After heating, horns are either split or pressed depending on the final product. For flat items, like panels, scales, or decorative plates, the horn is cut lengthwise, warmed again, then pressed between flat plates to create sheets. For curved items, like handles, ladles, or horn cups, the natural curve is kept and refined, because the horn's shape already gives it strength and character. Then we enter the precision zone: cutting and machining. CNC cutters, band saws, and drilling stations turn horn sheets into standardized blanks. From there, lathes and grinders shape each blank into a final form: smooth edges, clean corners, consistent thickness. This is where recycling becomes manufacturing. The horn stops being an irregular natural object and becomes a repeatable industrial part. And now comes the step that reveals the beauty: sanding and polishing. Unworked horn looks rough and dull. But once it is sanded through finer and finer grits, the surface becomes glossy, and the natural colors finally show. Creamy layers, smoky browns, black streaks, marbled patterns. No dye, no paint, just the real fingerprint of the material. At this stage, the line splits into multiple product streams. Some pieces become handles, knife handles, tool grips, and luxury hardware. Some become combs, buttons, buckles, or small decorative parts. And in specialty lines, horn is shaped into traditional style craft items that celebrate the material's heritage, especially in regions where horn working has deep cultural roots. Then comes quality control. The factory checks for cracks, warping, surface defects, and thickness consistency. Any piece that does not meet standard is not thrown away. It is downgraded into the next recycling tier, Because in horn recycling, almost nothing is truly scrap. Now let's talk about the zero waste part. What happens to the leftovers? Shavings, offcuts, and rejected pieces are dried and ground into horn granules or horn meal. This material is rich in keratin and is commonly used as a slow-release organic fertilizer because it breaks down gradually in soil. So even the dust from polishing becomes a product. Finally, packaging and shipping. Finished horn parts are cleaned, counted, and packed with separators to prevent scratching. Horn meal is sealed in bags to keep moisture out. Everything is labeled by batch so the factory can trace exactly which run produced which shipment. And that is the full journey inside a Highland cattle horn recycling factory. Sorting, washing and degreasing, gate trimming and core removal, controlled heating, the pressing or shaping, the machining, sanding and polishing, gate quality control, the byproduct grinding, final packing. Now tell me in the comments, what surprised you most? That horn can be reshaped with heat, the insane amount of polishing needed to reveal the patterns, or the fact that even the leftovers become fertilizer. If you enjoyed this episode, hit like, subscribe, and stay with Factory Flow. Because next time, we are going even deeper into the most satisfying part, the moment a rough, matty horn turns glossy and marbled under the final polish.
Let's check this section here. Yes, yes, the grain looks good. Flip it over carefully, please. Keep it steady. A little to the left. Now lower it down.
Clear.
Checking for defects.
Clear.
Looks clear.
Yes.
Ready for the belt.